muscles, ligaments, tendons, all of this truly affects how the skeletal system takes trauma or has an issue. Majority of the time, there are two things that are going to cause skeletal problems. It's either a soft tissue issue or it's going to be.
You're listening to the All-In Wellness Approach podcast.
This is your wellness, your life. So just one question.
Are you ready to go all in?
Welcome back to the All-In Wellness Approach. I'm Amanda, and today we're getting into something everybody needs to hear. We talk a lot about strength and movement, but what about soft tissue? My guest, Ted Plasko, knows better than anyone. He's a soft tissue specialist, massage therapist, and one of those rare humans who can find the knot you didn't even know was ruining your ability to function. Ted's going to break down why your pain might not be where you think it is, what bad knees actually mean, and why rest and recovery are not the same thing. Ted, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
This is a topic I've been passionate about for years. And when I met you years ago, it was so symbiotic to find someone who understands the same thing. Before we get into the good, juicy stuff, what brought you here today?
When I finally came to Austin, I made the decision of going into massage therapy. I went to school here. It was enlightening to find out that there were other people like-minded that finally found what they wanted to do. And this was at the age of 40. So I was a little older. I wasn't in my 20s and 30s where I figured everything out. And when I finally got into that environment, it was enlightening for me to go, wow, this is actually what I can do. And I feel passionate about it. That's when I started to realize the path that I needed to take, that I could sit there and experience what helping people is, true enlightenment about that.
So you went to massage therapy school.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a certified massage therapist.
Correct.
And you also are an SM certified personal trainer.
Correct. To have that health and wellness attitude or that lifestyle. When I started doing personal training with my coach that I had at the gym that I was working out at, and with what I already knew about the body, muscles, kinesiology, physiology, and all that, it made sense to incorporate this into my massage therapy practice. And it changed everything on how I look at body work and soft tissue, because you don't understand it until you see people walking, moving, and you're like, that is a functional problem. That doesn't work right. And I know they're hurting, or I know they're having to tolerate pain, and we don't want that.
How long have you been practicing massage therapy?
I've been a massage therapist now for 17 years.
Wow.
And it's evolved from when I first started, because you need to understand what the muscles are doing, where they're attached, how they're functioning. And as I've gone through the years, my practice has evolved into a niche market where it's more about functionality. It's more about people not having to tolerate pain so they can have a quality of life that they deserve and they want, but they are scared to bring it about because they would rather take a pill, or they'd rather listen to somebody else tell them that it's okay, just rest. And that's not the answer.
I love your story. It's a great example of reinventing yourself and doing something that you feel more passionate about and purposeful. Now, the amount of people that you get to help. I love how we met right before John and I were getting married. I got a spa membership to get my skin all good and just feeling good before the wedding. And my husband, John, was having chronic shoulder pain. I had a massage with you, and I was like, babe, you need to come see this guy. 6 weeks. He went once a week, and it relieved everything. He had not had the numbness in his shoulder since. Right after that, I told you, one day we're going to own a gym, and I'm going to bring you with us.
Yeah, I remember that. And when I saw John, it was, his shoulder was frozen. And everybody that comes in there a lot of the time expects something like that issue I can fix in one session. And with recovery, with that kind of work, it's a process. It's like peeling an onion. You're going to eventually get to what is truly causing the problem, because there's referred pain, that the pain is somewhere else, but the issue is coming from another area. And after that 6 weeks, and he could have full mobility on that and still work out, but there's still work need to be done, was a great experience. And you learn on every client that you get of what works and what does not work. And that's the process of growing and being better.
which was so helpful for us and fun for me. And I'm sure when we told you that, hey,
Yeah.
we're going to own a gym one day.
Yeah, sure, whatever, great. Thumbs up. And she put it out there and it came true. And it's great to be here and it manifests. And now we're doing what we want to do and what we love to do.
Yeah.
So,
And in an environment, now you have your own business out of our gym.
correct.
And you get to work with a who understands that your services are needed. Before we get into the athletic population or people who work out regularly, let's talk about soft tissue. A lot of people, when they talk about their body, they just talk about the joint.
Mm.
But I think soft tissue or the musculature is something that people don't fully understand, that is what moves the body. I love to talk about the marionette analogy. If you look at a marionette, think of the wooden pieces of the marionette as your bones, and the strings are your muscles. Those little wooden pieces don't move without the strings. And if there's an issue in one of those strings, the marionette doesn't move how it's supposed to. So the same with our body, that's where you come in to correct that soft tissue. So working on the strings to help take off pressure from the bones or the wooden pieces of the marionette. So muscle versus bone.
You nailed it pretty good, the marionette system, where the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons, all of this truly affects how the skeletal system takes trauma or has an issue. Majority of the time, there are two things that are going to cause skeletal problems. It's either a soft tissue issue or it's going to be trauma. What I kind of characterize it as is you have what we call a repetitive movement injury, and that is usually caused by a soft tissue problem. You are doing something on a regular basis. Say, for example, if you're working on a computer, you work on a computer every day. You're in the car, you're driving, so you're repetitively moving these muscles in the same motion. They're going to cause problems for your shoulders, your back, your neck. All of these issues kind of build up over time. And it's not a postural thing. It's a soft tissue problem.
And a lifestyle.
And a lifestyle. Because your problem is not how you're doing it. It's because of what you're doing. Are you going to change that? No, because it's your job. You get paid. I understand that.
You're going to sit at a desk all day. That can't change. You're going to, if you drive for a living, you're not going to change
You're
that.
not going to stop.
Healing versus preventing an injury. When your lifestyle has you in a chronic position all day because of what you do,
Exactly.
this is helping prevent that chronic injury cycle of being in that, where then eventually you could have more serious issues versus the trauma that you've talked about, like a surgery.
Getting hit by a baseball, getting hit by whatever, falling down.
Yeah.
I mean, as society gets older, their potential for injury is elevated. And it's a soft tissue problem that's going to end up causing a joint problem or causing posture problem or back issues. So if we can directly affect and help those particular soft tissue problems, those muscles, to relieve that tension, to allow the posture to come back, it's a physical appearance that you're going to see the results of what is done.
Yeah.
Because the body wants to be in a natural homeostasis state, which is kind of like a happy place.
Anatomical position, equal balance between strength of the muscles on the anterior side or the front side of the body versus the posterior side of the body.
Correct.
What helps me with people when they say, well, I don't work out, or, I'm not an athlete. Everybody has muscles. Whether you feel like you use them or not, you do. You need them. Whether you're working out, you're still walking every day. You're still putting your body and those muscles in a position. Yeah. If you're doing the same thing every day, that becomes a chronic thing.
It's a chronic problem.
Right. That causes people to then not realize that over time that will inevitably manifest into a compensation, and that compensation will then eventually potentially cause pain or injury.
Correct.
And so everybody needs soft tissue work.
They do. The biggest issue is that they don't understand where the problem comes from. All they feel is what the pain is. So all of a sudden, your back and shoulders are hurting on a constant basis, and your neck starts to hurt. And they think it's their back. And most of the time, it's usually not their back. There is a victim, there is a culprit, there is referred pain, and there is a problem. And we need to address that to find out where it's coming from, to alleviate that so we can focus on strengthening the areas that are being affected by the referred pain.
Right. And
And
understanding if they're feeling pain in a joint, most of the time it's coming from a soft tissue issue, meaning the musculature above or below that joint
correct,
line, right?
correct. That absolutely. Like you just said, say, for example, your knee. Your knee's bothering you and you drive to work and knee hurts. It's like, why is my knee hurting? What did I do? Did I hit it? Did I injure it? Not normally. Normally it's coming from another area, and usually it'll be somewhere in the hips and the core
Mhm.
that are causing a problem. And it doesn't connect for people. They're like, well, I have a knee problem. I'm going to go see the doctor. What do they usually do? Here's some pain medication. Here's a muscle relaxer. Here's some kind of pill to alleviate it, to mask the problem rather than addressing the issue.
Or if
Th-
it's been years of them being like, "Oh, whatever, I just have a bad knee."
I'll take some
And
ibuprofen or, yeah, whatever.
or they live that lifestyle of driving for forever and then it's like, "Oh, you need surgery."
Yeah,
When you could have prevented that if you would have taken care of the soft tissue
correct.
before.
So I go in there, I find out what the culprit is, and I work on that to allow the knee to sit there and relax and feel better. But then we have to go into a maintenance situation where we're working on that, strengthening muscles. That's why you get with personal trainers, strength and conditioning. There's a whole world that is all connected that we need to sit there and address. And the first one is getting the soft tissue taken care of.
That's such a great segue into the next part about movement and recovery. So, range of motion and strength. A lot of people will do the workouts because they know they need to,
Mhm.
but not realizing that they're only getting 50, 70%, depending on their range of motion. If you're having all these soft tissue issues, you're compensating in the movement, you're not getting the full stretch of the muscle belly, you're missing all of that work that you're doing. I'm a work smarter, not harder kind of
Mhm.
gal. I want to be able to get every ounce out of that workout that I put my effort into. And so, talking about how important range of motion is. And when you work on the soft tissue, it allows that range of motion to come back. And then the strength training that locks it in.
Yes, that is the biggest area when it comes into quality of life, where when I go in to work on people, it's all about me helping them reach the goals that they want to do, whatever the quality of life is. If it's to play with their kids, grandkids, if it's to hike, if it's to travel, we get the soft tissue taken care of. Then we get into mobility, range of motion, strengthening the opposing muscles,
Yep.
all of that. So, say, for example, if you have a knee issue and your hips and flexors are all tight and not functioning, getting better range of motion, I will get those to open up, to get active. Then we have to get into a situation where we're strengthening the quads, we're strengthening the glutes, we're strengthening the hamstrings, we're strengthening all the auxiliary muscles that work with this to get them stronger. So you're able to move better, get better form, because form and function go together. If you're only getting 40, 50% of activation, you're working the muscles in the wrong position. The muscles have to be in the proper position and work efficiently to reach that goal that you want to do. And this will help you do that.
I use the knot in the marionette. If you have the knot in the marionette and you try to stretch it, it only tightens that knot, right? So
Absolutely.
the myofascia adhesion, doing myofascia release to painfully and tediously getting rid of that knot so that the string, that's our muscle. And so when people continue to work out with that knot and then there's like, oh, I'm not getting the aesthetic results I want, or oh, my muscle mass isn't increasing. Your muscle mass isn't increasing because that section of the muscle cannot tear and rebuild because it's adhesed and causing compensation. So you're really only working a half section of that muscle belly.
That's being generous.
Yeah.
You're barely working those muscles because the fascia in the body protects everything. Protects the muscles, the organs. It's everywhere in the body. If the fascia has a problem, it's going to cause other issues. And for you to have muscle growth, you need to address the soft tissue problem so the muscle gets back to its default. And then we can build upon it to make it a better, efficient, more effective workouts and more effective soft tissue work, because it has to be able to do its job to release waste, to bring in nutrients, to get rid of the inflammation. It is imperative that as we get older, we get more aware how the body reacts, how the body works, how the body
Recovers.
processes, and how the body recovers. Recovery is not taking a nap. Recovery is not chilling on the couch watching Netflix. Recovery is most of the time uncomfortable. Is
It's
not
its own version of work.
correct. The kind of work I do is going to be uncomfortable. It's going to hurt. But you know what? You have spent years, if not decades, being in this position, and it's going to take a process. If I could do it in one session, it'd be amazing. But it's not a one session kind of thing. It's a daily, weekly, monthly kind of work where it's not me doing the body work every day. It's me doing body work, you doing your homework. You foam
Foam
rolling,
rolling.
stretching, trigger pointing with a lacrosse ball, massage gun.
Activating with mini bands.
Correct. It's essential for you to look at this as a lifestyle rather than a one-time fix.
Yeah. I think too, something you hit on earlier that a lot of people hear the word, but they don't understand what it is fascia.
Hmm.
If you've ever had a boneless, skinless chicken breast, but there's this weird film on top.
That's fascia.
And fascia doesn't have a blood supply, correct?
Correct.
It's what it does though for a myofascia adhesion is it sits on top of the muscle. When we work out or when we're in a constant compensation, little micro traumas happen to the muscle. Well, you say micro tear, but I think that scares people like they think they've torn a muscle.
Yeah.
No, it's just what the muscles do to break down and rebuild.
Correct.
But sometimes when it's a little more than normal, there will be a little bit of a blood spurt in that muscle, which creates almost like an internal scab. And that blood then, if I could use my hands, if you're watching on YouTube, if this is the muscle and this is the fascia, there's a little tear that happens. And so there's a little bit of blood. And then that's what the fascia sticks to. And that creates a myofascia adhesion.
Correct.
And unfortunately for the scab, sometimes if it's light enough and you do foam roll, then you can take care of it yourself. But a lot of
Correct.
times, then you need to see someone who understands myofascia release to take care of that.
Absolutely. It's a great way of explaining it. I mean, if you look at it, it's very opaque. It's very flexible. It moves around everything. If you're running and feels like you have shin splints, which are tiny little issues down the shin, this fascia will all of a sudden lock onto it, and the scab won't let it slide and move and heal and get its nutrients in there. That's that myofascial adhesion where it needs to be worked out. That makes your future workouts a little easier, a little better. And if you can stay on top of that kind of work, it is going to make everything else a lot easier and getting the better results that you want.
And it helps keep the muscle with its elasticity.
We had mentioned where you have a knee issue. A lot of the times that is a result of what's going on up in the core into the hip. The knee issue will come along. If you don't address it, it'll eventually go down into the calf and then down into the ankle and down into the foot. And then you'll get these other issues of plantar fasciitis, or you get joint issues down in the feet where the mobility is not there at all.
Or then you start having meniscal issues.
Correct.
Because then it's changed the position in which the head of your femur, which is pushed by
Correct.
either forward or backward by the strength of your quads and hamstrings. And then it exposes that space. And then that's where meniscal tears happen. So people think, oh, I just have a bad knee, when it's like, no, you had a muscle compensation that then causes your joints to be the poor victim.
Well, and they try to push through it.
Yeah.
And then that'll cause a failure somewhere else. Then we have to sit there and backtrack on what's going on. You've got a whole chain of events happening that you have to work through to get down to where the referred pain is. Because normally you're not going to feel it up into your hip, but you're going to feel pain into the knee and into the foot. And you think that surgery or PT or something is going to help this, when all you really need to do is go back to the soft tissue and slowly release this down and help recover the issue of what's going on.
The other thing is scar tissue. So I've had scar tissue in my abdomen since I was probably 5. I had bilateral inguinal hernia surgery, and then in my 20s, I had my appendix out, and it's always affected the appearance of my abdominal muscles. And kind of blaming it on myself or being like, oh, I'm not lean enough. When I sat with you, you're like, Amanda, no, you have a bundle of scar tissue in here that is pulling your fascia from your hip. And soft tissue work can help to correct that, alleviate it. But I don't think people realize even after you have a surgery to fix your knee or to fix your shoulder, then you have all this scar tissue that is also inhibiting your movement and create more compensation if you don't do the soft tissue work to fix it.
Absolutely. I mean, scar tissue is one of the biggest problems that a lot of people have.
Women who have C-sections,
C-sections, knee replacements, shoulder replacements. The scar tissue is a snowball effect of what's happening with the fascia because they cut through everything to get down to whatever the issue may be. And then they put it back together. The fascia, the skin cells, they all kind of get bundled up. It all gets mixed together and gets locked up. And you have to slowly pull this apart to allow the fascia to do its job. And in doing that, it is not going to be comfortable, but it's going to be effective, and we can allow that to heal properly so you can get that movement, that mobility, that range of motion to allow you to build the muscle that it's around to get stronger so it doesn't have to have that adhesion in there where it's like chaos.
when you explained scar tissue as more of a spider web, because you think, oh, here's my scar, it should just be there, but it kind of expands out
It does.
and webs around more than just that area.
That is exactly like a chaotic spider web. It goes everywhere. It's not just a ball. No, it's reaching out, it's pulling certain areas. It goes up into, especially into the abdomen where it affects the diaphragm, it affects breathing, it affects digestion, and that can cause gut health problems. So scar tissue is not good, but it can be worked on.
You don't have to have a surgery to have scar tissue.
No,
If you are having a chronic tissue issue, then it will create those little micro tears from being in the wrong spot.
correct.
And depending on where it is in the muscle or in the joint, you'll have this little micro trauma scar tissue in a big muscle belly, like in your quads or in your abdomen. And you don't even realize that it's there and wreaking havoc on your mobility, range of motion.
Exactly. It'll cause a compensation on all the other muscles, all the muscle groups around it to not be working in a ergonomic way. And if it's not addressed, it'll slowly get worse and the pain will slowly get more annoying. And it's better to address it now rather than just to tolerate it, because tolerating the pain is not resolving the issue. It's not going to go away.
We have talked about chronic lifestyle causing some of this. We all need to eat, and nutrition is important. But for recovery, before, during, and after workout, before, during, after a recovery massage, those micro tears happen during a workout or during the lifestyle compensation. And then not only to repair it is the soft tissue work, but then nutrition to help with repair, importance of circulation and oxidation of blood, which I think is huge in the soft tissue work that you do.
Correct.
Because we could foam roll, but a lot of people don't foam roll long enough or to the point of
They stop at that point of where it hurts
right.
rather than breaking that wall and going beyond that particular area that they're foam rolling. They just stop and are like, okay, I'm good. And the big thing for me is that with the demographic that I get to work with, which is amazing, the members at your gym are incredible, that they understand that recovery is extremely important. The majority of them will put the work in, but still don't go far enough. They don't go to the point of where they come in on a regular basis, getting body work, knowing that the results that they want are achievable if they can continue this kind of work. And foam rolling enough, trigger pointing enough, active recovery, not resting. If you are in a environment that you're looking to be competitive, that you want to do competitions, or if you just want to live optimally and
Not
have a
just
great quality of life. Yeah,
I think functional is the baseline, but functional can be where
absolutely.
you're still able to walk, but you have pain. You know, what's functional? To me, I don't necessarily want to live just functional. I want to live optimal.
Correct.
And to do that, you have to do that soft tissue work. One workout isn't going to build your strength, it's over time. Then one soft tissue session isn't going to fix it.
Correct.
And you also have to do the nutritional work to make sure that you're hydrating enough so that your fluids flush out any of that lactic acid or metabolic waste, making sure that you're eating properly so you have the nutrients to repair.
Exactly. It's an all encompassing movement here. Health and wellness is not just, well, I work out. Well, great, you work out, but are you getting everything you need? Are you eating right? Are you getting recovery? Just because you go to the gym doesn't mean you're automatically healthy. You still have high blood pressure. You still have chronic issues. You're not focusing on your nutrition. You're not focusing on recovery. You're not probably even focusing on the workout hard enough. You need to up the game, be all in on this stuff, and allow the people that are around you to help you. And that's what the benefit of this is that I am helping you to be better. And allowing you to be better will allow you to live that quality of life that now is achievable and you can actually do it.
Achievable is an amazing word because most people know how they'd like to live and feel, but I think people give up because they don't think that it's something that they can do or that is even real. But it is if you're willing to do the work. And like you said, go all in on the preventable parts of this. I think for our listener, they're at the beginnings of their journey, and all of this may seem overwhelming, where they're like, I don't even work out, but I am in pain, but all of this just seems too much, and it just makes me want to crawl into a ball and not do any of it because it just seems overwhelming. So that's where the psychological factor too,
Mm-hmm.
is that even you ignoring your body and crawling into that ball is also causing more pain because the body keeps the score. So
Correct.
stress can be just as much of a factor, if not more, than working out with bad range of motion.
I get it. Life gets in the way on stuff and stress and factors that you feel you don't have control over, but you actually do. It is easier to sit there and find an excuse not to do something than to do something that you will truly appreciate and get great value from, to get into the gym, to eat right, to get recovery, to do all of the things. As one of my client says, I do all the things now. That's what you want to do. You want to do all of the stuff that puts you in position to achieve what you want.
Soft tissue work is a great place to start. If
Absolutely.
you're like, I'm afraid to start going into a gym, that's okay. Where your body is at may not necessarily be ideal for you to start that just yet. Start getting understanding and awareness of your body. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the gate
Well,
theory a little
the
bit.
gate theory is that, like, how the brain works, it will take whatever is bothering it the most, put it right up first in the queue. All of a sudden, you notice your back's hurting. As I work on your soft tissue, as I work on your low back and hips to alleviate that, all of a sudden your back starts to feel a little better and it's loosening up. And then I get to your shoulders and they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize my shoulders are killing me. That's the next one in queue. That's the next one in line that your brain's like, oh, yeah, that hurts. And then next thing you know, yeah, my knees hurt, my ankles. They just start setting up in line like you're setting up the next song in your playlist.
Yep.
And that's what the gate theory is. It's not that your body is all of a sudden coming up with these things that hurt. Oh, they have always been there. They have always had that issue.
Yes.
The brain just takes on the biggest one first, and then it'll take on the next one.
I think that's hard for some people because then they get frustrated with the process. They're like, cool, you worked on my back, but now this hurts and now this hurts. And they get so defeated, like, am I ever going to feel great? And it's like, you will, but we have to go through the process of the fact that when your body does that compensation, it's not just one thing. This is one connected machine. So when you're in that position, you're having tight pecs, tight hip flexors, to work on all of those and to get all of those back to truly just get you to functional first and then to optimal. It's going to take a while.
Yes.
It's just like an oil change on a car.
Correct.
But right now, that car has been through a wreck and we're going to have to do a lot of work to get
full
there.
tune up.
Yeah. I've had TMJ, so the locking of the jaw. I think so many people have that. And they go to injections, which I have heard that help people. But for me, that just was a scary thought, thinking, oh, it's just because I'm stressed. We also figured out that I was in an ATV accident that caused a compensation while also being in a stressful time of life, which then has caused TMJ. But again, it's muscles. People, I think, just think when you say muscles, they think legs and arms and abs. And they don't realize,
The
like,
big ones.
your face, you being able to chew food and speak are also muscles. And so soft tissue work can actually alleviate things like TMJ and migraines because of the muscles on the top of your head, in the back of your head and neck, that also can potentially be symptomatic for a migraine or TMJ.
Absolutely. It's an entire complex muscle group that affects how the jaw, the skull, and the neck, up into, ear, everything.
Chewing and swallowing
chewing,
food.
breathing.
Yeah.
I truly love working on it because I can actually see how the symmetry of the face and the muscles work together. And I can adjust and work on the muscles to get them back into alignment where you have a complete visual change of your face. I mean, it
I have a
is,
before and after picture that we should try and show.
yeah.
And it's literally, you'll be able to tell I'm in the same outfit and it looks
I mean,
like,
this was minutes apart.
yeah,
You can see the symmetry and how everything shifted. And all of a sudden, she could see better, breathe better, and the
the dark
alignment.
circles on my
Yeah.
face were gone.
Yeah.
When you're working on my TMJ and obviously the pain's in my jaw, that's where it's clicking. So we think, okay, Ted, your hand should just be there working on those muscles. When no, you've gone down into my neck and my SCM,
Yeah. Sternocleidomastoid.
sternocleidomastoid, and grab onto it. And it's like, holy cow, that's what's causing an issue.
It's that adhesion that
Because
was in
that
there.
ATV accident,
Correct.
putting my neck in that position and causing this, while also the stress of life too, then allowing for the clinching. And it's just all this big web of lifestyle and traumatic event that can be treated and alleviated by soft tissue work. If you're having sinus issues with your breathing, you've been able to adjust my sinuses and be able to allow for breathing, especially after any sort of illness like a respiratory infection or anything like that. And then you can immediately feel yourself breathing better. And it's soft tissue work.
It is.
I'm hopeful that as people are listening to this, they are empowered by the fact that how they're feeling is not how they have to continue to feel if they're willing to go and seek a soft tissue specialist.
Correct. The last thing I want anybody to do is have to rely on medication, pills, injections, surgery to alleviate a chronic problem, something they may not know they've had, or even something they may know they have. But soft tissue, that kind of work can alleviate a lot of these situations that you don't have to rely on pain pills. You don't have to rely on injections to mask the problem. You don't mask the problem. You resolve the issue. That's my goal.
Right. And respectively, I think there's a time and place for all of the Western medicine things.
Absolutely.
A lot of the time, though, it's when it's the last line of defense where it's been so long that unfortunately your body has broken down. And then you have to, yes, you may need that surgery
Yeah.
at that point. But then afterwards, I think people forget that the scar tissue will come in. So you still need soft tissue work after
definitely.
the surgery. And we may need an injection if it does help you. Respectfully, to let people know whatever helps you get through
Yeah.
life to help you live functionally and optimally, but hopefully teaching people that there's also another way that isn't
Correct.
talked about, having soft tissue corrections. So taking that into understanding the difference between a relaxation massage and a recovery massage.
Mhm.
Our goal with this podcast is for people to feel like they've learned something, it's empowered them, and then they can apply it to their life and start approaching their life differently. So we're going to get into the differences so people understand what to ask for, and two, the psychology of it and
Mhm.
stress of life. There is a place for a relaxation massage that's not technically going to be a soft tissue
Correct.
massage. So talk about the difference between more of a emotional trauma that will need relaxation versus a physical trauma that will need soft tissue.
There's a big difference on the two. Relaxation massage, it is definitely needed. We all get stressed in life. We all have issues that are going on that aren't directly a trauma or soft tissue problem. It's an emotional problem that we need to detach for however long, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, to kind of unwind.
So that's like a traditional spa.
It's a Swedish massage.
Yeah.
You know, you're pushing out all the bad energy, just kind of relaxing. It's the ones that people are like, oh, I fall asleep on.
Yeah, turning
And-
off that nervous system.
Exactly. I mean, the fight or flight is a great way to put it, is that you don't always want to be under that particular umbrella at all times.
Yep.
You need that time to recharge, to center yourself. And a great massage for relaxation with hot stones or whatever modality that they want to use to help you unwind is great.
So there's a place for that.
Absolutely.
But that is not a soft tissue recovery.
That is not a soft tissue recovery kind of massage. I do a lot of corrective. I do a lot of therapeutic massage where I'm actually getting into the fibers to allow them to break apart, to do their job where the muscle fibers are sliding. They're not stuck. It's releasing everything, and it allows the muscle to get back to its default. And normally it is a little uncomfortable.
Yes.
It's not, because you spent years or whatever doing whatever you're doing to get to this point where I have to help it along.
And I think the hard part is that people think that that pain is bad, and so they shouldn't get that massage.
Correct.
When it's that pain is bad, hopefully that helps you understand how serious it is that you have that much of an issue in your tissue that's causing that amount of pain.
Yes.
You should be able to push through that and be able to have the muscles not have that. And so I think a lot of people will either have a massage like that and be like, oh, that's not for me because it causes too much pain.
It hurts too much.
And it's like, choose your heart in that aspect. Is if you don't work through that issue, then you may not like this pain, but do you want the pain of a surgery later down the road because you're not willing to take a little bit of pain to get rid of the issue in the soft tissue now and to prevent something that could be cataclysmic later?
Correct.
And so that's where it's hard. That's a trust with whoever's referred you to that person and building that relationship with that soft tissue therapist and empowering people to understand that once they go through that pain, it's terrible during and it hurts. But then when you feel that relief afterwards and you walk out and you're able to breathe and you're able to walk without pain and you're able to squat or touch your toes. That's my favorite, is when people come out of your room and they're like, oh my gosh, I haven't been able to touch my toes in years without pain. Or even,
I couldn't.
Right.
I can get to my knees. I mean, that's one of the things that I truly enjoy, is seeing the immediate results when they come out. Like you said, touching the toes, or seeing that their shoulders are not in their ears.
Yes.
Or seeing that their eyebrows and everything is all, the face is symmetrical.
My sister-in-law was like, who needs Botox? I'm just going to come see Ted.
Exactly. And I mean, it goes to the point that you said, while you're in the session, it is absolutely uncomfortable, but it gets better every time, because as you go further into the recovery, into that kind of work, the muscles understand. And then it starts to feel good. Then it starts to feel to the point of where it's like, I need this.
Yep.
I got to do this on a regular basis. Do I need to see somebody twice a week? No. Do I need to see them once a week? Ideally, if they're having issues. The whole goal for me is to get you to a point where I get you to maintenance. If something comes up, we can work on it.
Yep.
And that is on a regular basis, because would you rather go through that, or like you had said earlier, get to a point it's like, oh, I got to get a knee replacement, or I need a shoulder replacement, or I need some kind of corrective issue for a hip. No, we don't want to get to that point. But is this going to change that? It'll help. But there may be other chronic issues that are out of anybody's control that could cause that. And you go to the physician or whoever you need to see for that particular problem. But this will alleviate a lot of the soft tissue problem, the muscle problems. And even if you do go to that point, this will allow the muscles to recover quicker and better.
So for people to understand, if they don't live in Central Texas, we're going to give them ways to figure out how to find their own soft tissue specialist to help them do that. When we talk about your evaluations, first time client comes in, what questions are you asking and what are you looking for?
Usually what I do is I see how they're moving. That is my biggest assessment, is see them coming in, see them walking, seeing what their ergonomics is, what they're compensating. Because I can usually look at somebody and find out what's happening before they even say anything.
How they sit in the chair.
Correct. How they sit in the chair, how they've walked in the front door, how they bend over to put their phone down. Or the next thing is how active are you? What is your lifestyle? What is your goal? Do you work out? You go to the gym? What do you do for a living? I want to understand what they're doing to the body on a daily basis. I want to understand what they want to do, what their whole goal is. Do they want to travel and go hike? Do they want to play with their grandkids? Do they want to play sports, compete in something? Then I ask them, if you are doing all of this kind of stuff, what have you done in the past? Have you done body work? Have you gotten massage? What kind of recovery have you done to help you get to these goals? And most of the time, they mistake rest and recovery. Like, oh, I'll go for a walk and then relax at home. That's not recovery. That gives me an idea of what I need to work on for their body issues, whatever they may be, and then incorporate a recovery strategy that'll help them feel better about themselves and feel confident that they can do this.
What helped me was having someone who talks through the anatomy the whole time. And you talk about, we're doing this because of this, and helping educate the client as well to be like, hey, I understand you're having shoulder pain, but come down here, gonna put my elbow in your glute. So you explaining it. So I think for people when they're looking for somebody, if that person is able to throw out anatomy, then go do your homework too and kind of Google and make sure that they were right.
Yeah,
But being able to have someone who is explaining in depth what they're doing to you as you're going through it builds that confidence of your knowledge and of your process.
exactly. I want you to understand what's going on, why it's going on, what we need to resolve, and what you need to do when you leave here.
And the difference in any professional is being able to have the knowledge, but also an intuition. When we're working with clients, me from a personal training side, when people walk in, I can tell, ooh, I'm not going to be able to push them that certain way
Yeah,
today. You watching how they move, and there's an energy transfer because you're putting your hands on people and being able to feel what's going on in their
yeah,
body or their emotional state or being able to understand that. So that's what's hard is that's kind of an intangible, but you'll be able to tell that when you're in the room with the
yeah.
massage therapist by the questions that they ask and how they explain themselves and a referral, whether you're the client or a massage therapist. I would say if you work out and whoever your coach is, whether you're in a group class or your personal trainer, go see who they see because they already have an elevated level of how the body works, mechanics, and anatomy. So if they see someone, it's because they know that that person is worth their salt and they vetted them for you. Or if you are a massage therapist, so this is what kind of helped you, was then we brought you out of the spa into the gym that has people who understand they need this recovery. So if you are trying to build your business as a massage therapist, partner with other professionals that are in that same kind
Yes.
of mindset
Environment and then
environment as
mindset,
you.
yeah. It's that's a huge point right there. Finding somebody who does the body work that you need and understanding that they understand how the body works. I mean, you made a great point about intuition. That's not something that you can go get a continuing education for. That's something you can learn from your mentor. That's something that you're ingrained with. Understanding how everything works, knowing when you put your hand on somebody, you understand what that muscle is doing and why it needs to be manipulated the way it needs to be manipulated.
Yeah.
And finding a therapist that can do that, it's like, it's hard, but you nailed it before is if you're in the environment of the gym and that coach gets body work, he or she knows who you need to go see because they see how you lift, they see how you work, and they will have that person that will be able to do it. I mean, I admire that kind of confidence for coaches to do that because a lot of people don't. They'll just go through the motions. But if you have that environment where you've had a massage therapist come into a gym that's able to work in that environment, just makes it so much better because now you have the facility to work out and you have the facility to recover. And most of the time, you have the facility to eat right.
I also call it transferable trust. My client that works with me as a personal trainer already trusts me. So they're going to trust when I send them to somebody that I vetted that person and it's okay.
Hmm.
Because people coming maybe from Google searching for you that isn't a member of the gym or hasn't been referred by one of your previous clients may have a session and be like, that was not for me. You're also going to have the opposite people that are like, yes, I need someone who can work on me.
Exactly.
Sarah behind the scenes says when people say, oh, I go and get a massage and these people don't like it was weak. They didn't push hard enough. Then she's like, bet I'm gonna send you to Ted.
I got somebody. Yeah.
So there's the
It's double
extremes
edged.
where
It
the
is.
the people who are normally used to the soft and
Yeah.
gentle, and yes, you need that for your emotional side, but you're really missing out on the recovery side. They may be terrified of the
Yeah.
fact that yes, you're gonna have a little bit of pain through this. Also, when you've got a big, strong guy working on you, that can be intimidating,
Yeah.
but also that's what's needed because
Yeah.
the amount of effort and energy that goes into getting deep enough into the muscle
Yeah.
tissue is needed. Not saying that ladies can't do it. We have Amy Jo who does great work as well. So being able to transfer that trust, I
Mhm.
think helps people as well already be mentally prepared to be like, hey, I'm going in here to get fixed. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's not
Yeah.
the sounds of the songbirds and
No waterfalls.
which is needed for your emotional status.
Exact. But finding that person that you can sit there and have a lot of trust in and a lot of, experience and who is empathetic for your situation. I don't go in guns a-blazing the whole time. I find out where that threshold is to work on that person to allow them to get the relief and the results that they need. There are a multitude of people out there and massage therapists that deal with soft tissue that are amazing and experienced. And if you're in an area that you're not able to come and see me, you will be able to find them through other people from referrals that will vet them, that they'll be able to help you. And that's what I want to see, is that you take the effort to put a little work into it to find out who works for you, because all massage therapists are not the same. You got some that'll do their own thing or follow certain modalities, but we all have a purpose. We all have intent to help people. You can find that person. There are telltale signs they actually listen to you. They actually focus on your issues, and they actually give you a little bit of homework to do that is going to help you be able to move better.
Homework and a little bit of ownership and kind of recollection of the history of your life. I know I had a client who had a hip replacement, and
Mhm.
then I sent her to you. And I feel bad that I didn't connect it. It took us a while working together to realize that in her 20s, she had dropped a butcher knife on her big toe, which severed a major tendon that causes the foot to flex. And because that had never been addressed after the surgery to fix it, she had scar tissue there, and then it completely changed her gait, which is how people walk. And because it changed how she walked, she would continually turn her foot so she didn't have to push through that big toe and that tendon, which then caused the hip to become the victim, to have to do all the work, putting her hip in a completely
Yeah.
unnatural position, compromising just so that she could functionally walk. Again, functional is not optimal. Then that caused her to spend decades doing that and needing a hip replacement. And if she had the knowledge and the referral and the resources to be able to see someone who understands that there's going to be a catalyst of that injury that could potentially cause an even bigger one down the road, how amazing would it be if people would not have to then later have that hip surgery in life, because we could have handled the soft tissue is worked on, then see a personal trainer who could lock it in by strengthening the muscles that need to be strengthened to help not let your body compensate that way and put you in that compensated hip position. So understanding that everything all works together, being able to have nutrition so we keep weight off your body too,
Mhm.
because going through that, then working out was painful. And then they go through the spiral of, well, I'm not working out, and then eating bad and putting weight on their body. So then all that extra weight on that hip joint as well just created this horrible storm for her to eventually have to have this hip surgery. And I'm
Mhm.
glad it did alleviate pain for her, and the hip surgery was a success. But I think if we'd ask her if we could have fixed you soft tissue wise for you to never have to have a surgery in the first place, she probably would have picked
Yeah.
that option. Hopefully, this empowers people to look at themselves now, dissect your own body, and be like, okay, I'm having pain here, here, and here. I can possibly do something about this
Yeah.
that isn't as extreme as a surgery. Let me go find a specialist and start getting soft tissue work done.
I remember that. It was incredible, because if she could go back in time, hindsight's always 2020.
Yeah.
And if somebody would have addressed that issue, it would have made a complete difference.
The
Like,
trajectory of her life completely different.
completely different. And if people can just take a little bit away from this, is that be aware of what your body is doing. That is the hardest thing for anybody to do, is to be aware of what the body is doing. Because one, they may not have the knowledge of the physiology and kinesiology of how things work. But if you can just understand that what your pain is normally not what is causing it. Like the stone in the pond. You throw a stone into the pond and it ripples out. Well, the out is what you're feeling. The stone is what's caused the problem. If we can find what the stone is, we'll be able to fix all the other
You
little
won't have the
ripples.
ripples, yeah. One of two things. People either just grit and bear it and say, oh, this is just it. I'm just going to live with chronic
Mhm.
pain and not do anything about it. Or they go to the other side and just rest way too much
Mhm.
and do absolutely nothing and cause issues that way too. So if we can get people to understand and empower them to live in between those two
Mhm.
options, that there's a way to get yourself functional and then you can actually live optimal,
Mhm.
but it's going to take a little bit of self-awareness
Yeah.
and getting in line with professionals that can help you do that.
That allows you to be able to work out, get with coaches, personal trainers, get with a community that understands what is going on and they know they're not alone. People feel that they may be alone in this, and they're not.
And they don't want to complain.
They don't want to complain,
Yep.
exactly, because it's easy to complain. It's easy to express how you hurt and stuff like that, but not to do anything. You have to take action to do it. Find that professional, find that therapist that will be able to work that soft tissue out. Now you're taking action. Now you've taken that first step. Now you can do a little bit of work. You can do a little bit of resistance training. You can actually see results. And all of a sudden you're like on a path where you feel like things are getting better.
I think the last barrier for people is always going to be cost. This one's a hard one because I understand life can be expensive. Oh, you're telling me I need to eat better and I need to go to the gym and now I need to do soft tissue work. Massage is a luxury. But getting people to understand that you paying for a massage is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. When we tell people, oh, if you take this pill and pay for this, they're willing to pay for that prescription. When, how about we do this and you pay for something else? There's this weird thought process in people that they're willing to pay for certain things but not other things, when if you really do the math long term, you won't have to pay for forever to do the soft tissue work if you continue to maintain it, but then you're willing to pay thousands of dollars later for a surgery. And so it's that same saying that everyone says you got to choose your hard, but to me, living in the prevention stage of life is so much better. So finding a way to budget for it, but understanding that if you think it's a luxury, then you are allowing yourself to live in an unfunctional, unhappy place, where if we tell people you can take that pill, you're willing to do it and pay for it. So why not do this so you can actually feel good and allow you to live your life well?
Why not take it upon yourself, take that step, and find somebody who can help you be preventative on what the body is doing? I understand it's a financial issue. I get it. We all understand health and wellness is not cheap, but it's a lot better
But being
than the
sick isn't
alternative.
cheap either.
Exactly. I mean, the alternative is not better, and it's not better by a lot. That's one of the big reasons I'm at this gym, that are a lot smarter and a lot more involved with the resistance training and coaching and all of that, that are going to make my clients better, make their clients better. And that's why it's, what do they say? It takes a village.
Takes a village. And same with anybody's full plan. It's going to be a layered plan to have an optimal set of how to work out, how to recover, and how to continue. And it's just creating it as part of your routine.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle change.
Take whatever felt like low-hanging fruit to you
Yeah.
and apply. One thing that we ask all of our guests when they are here with us is, what are you going all in on for you, Ted?
Lately, it's been my nutrition. I truly appreciate being in this environment and being in this community that is extremely beneficial to my quality of life. It's starting to make a difference.
You're creating your all-in wellness approach.
Yes, my all in. It's amazing.
Love it. If this episode gave you some light bulb moment, share it with your friends who need to hear it as well. And make sure to follow the All in Wellness Approach on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube so you don't miss what's coming next.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the All in Wellness Approach. If the show resonates with you, please rate, review, and subscribe. It helps us reach more people who are ready to live all in. Join the collective on Instagram at AWA Podcast. That's at AIWA Podcast for tools, insights, and inspiration, and catch every full episode on YouTube. Your support fuels this mission and keeps the collective moving all in. This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not intended as medical, psychological, or professional advice. Always consult your doctor before changing your lifestyle.